about you, but I can never get enough of minimalist money-saving tips, tricks, and hacks. And with this crazy inflation, what a better time to focus on improving your finances and reducing expenses than now. So today, I will share with you 12 money-saving tips that I plan to use to save more money in 2023. But make sure you stick to the end because I have saved the best one for last. So number one is, before purchasing anything, after you ask, do I need this? Also ask this question: can I DIY this? For example, I recently needed a planner because I want to plan out my daughter's homeschool calendar. I browsed briefly through the internet and then I realized I have a lot of notebooks in the home, and so I got out my handy dandy ruler and a pen and I made my own. If you ask this question before you go to buy anything, you may be surprised at just how many things you can do much cheaper if you just do it yourself. Number two is, prior to tossing or replacing your clothing, consider how you can alter it to make it work for you. So for example, I had a dress that I wasn't too fond of the sleeves, so I cut them off and I made them a bit shorter. I had two high-waisted dress pants that I realized I don't need two of them, so I cut one of them and made them into shorts because I didn't have shorts at that time. By doing this, I saved myself from purchasing new items. Prior to tossing an item, consider how you can mend it to make it work for you. And if you aren't able to do so, then consider possibly having someone do this for you. It tends to be much cheaper than actually purchasing a brand new item. And number three is, if you just thought to yourself, well, I don't know how to sew, then this is for you. Learn new skills such as cooking, sewing, and gardening. These skills can be huge money savers because, as I mentioned, through sewing your clothing, instead of having to replace it, you can just mend that. Or even gardening, you can have fresh fruits and vegetables, or you can freeze things, such as what we do. Learning these new skills doesn't have to be even complicated at all because you have tons of videos at your disposal on YouTube, for example, and it's totally free. And in the case of sewing, the kit that I have is very small. It takes up very minimal space, but I have saved quite a few stuffed animals with these. So make it a goal to learn one new skill per season, and then the next season you can focus on another skill. And then if things hit the fan, you have a skill where you could make things to be able to sell to other people to make more money. And who doesn't love more money, right? So for example, I can knit and I can make scarves and things like that. I don't enjoy it, but I know that I have that skill, and should I ever need to sell these sorts of things, I can do so. Number four is huge, and it is to replace your social media scrolling with YouTube videos, podcasts, or audiobooks that are relevant to better managing your finances, minimalism, or just saving money in general. Think about it. You can either spend your time scrolling through Instagram, watching what the Kardashians are doing or what other people are wearing and what they have and what they own, and think about the things you lack, the things that you need more of, or you can listen to content or watch content that is motivating you to own less, to desire less, to free you from that shopping addiction that you may or may not have, and also at the same time motivating you to save more money, to learn how to better manage your finances. Swapping this out can be huge. I know that for me, when I purchased Dave Ramsey's book, The Total Money Makeover, it was a huge life changer for me. And I got so motivated that on my commutes, I would listen to podcasts about saving money and I would watch YouTube videos on that topic. And I learned so much that I hadn't before. And this is kind of what led me into minimalism, but it just, I think, goes kind of hand in hand. So be really cautious about the kind of content that you are consuming and make sure that it's something that's going to actually help you get towards your goal. And tip number five is to have a lazy, quick go-to meal. We've all heard of meal planning as part of saving money. Sometimes life just doesn't work out that way. You have a hectic day and then you come home and you just don't have the time to be able to make a well-rounded dinner. For those days, have a quick meal that you can just whip up in 10 minutes. What we do is we have some shirataki noodles, which don't need to be cooked. They just come in a bag prepared. Some frozen veggies that we just always keep in stock in the freezer. Some eggs and some coconut aminos, which is basically the soy-free version of soy sauce. And ta-da! We have a stir fry in under 10 minutes. Just make sure that you always have the ingredients at hand so that on those occasions when you have a crazy hectic day, you could just whip this up really quick. Number 6 is also food related, and it is intermittent fasting, or if you just don't want to do intermittent fasting, just don't snack throughout the day. This is actually not something that I've really heard about in terms of saving money, but it's one of the effects that I have noticed through intermittent fasting throughout the years. And I've talked a lot about intermittent fasting, and especially through my videos on my experience with the keto diet, which I can link down below. Every time you eat, you're spiking your insulin levels. When you reduce your insulin levels, you can decrease inflammation in the body. It means that I am eating healthier meals, I no longer binge eat, and I'm not having to cook or prepare or buying all of these things in my home. Matter of fact, we don't really keep things like cereals or cookies or chips chips or any of those sorts of snacks in our home. The snacks that we do have are for our kids really and my husband, but it tends to be things like fruits and those sorts of things. Reducing the amount of snacking or trying out intermittent fasting can really save you a lot of money in the long run, but it can be so good for your health. However, make sure that it's okay with your doctor or nutritionist before you try anything like that, because I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist. This is just what has worked for me, and I have noticed that it has saved me money as well. Number 7 is to have a wish list. And I don't mean the wish list where you tell people, I would love it if you would give me this, not that kind of thing, although you can totally do that if you want to. By this, I mean having an area where you can jot down the things that you would like to buy, but you don't really need or don't really need them right away. So for example, you can jot things down in a notebook or have it on your notes app on your phone, because I don't want to just go to the store and buy whatever with the high dollar price tag. I want to maybe shop the sales or find a used version. So by doing this, I'm kind of also giving myself the time where I don't have to just buy it right now because of the FOMO. And then at the same time, you may decide that some of those items you jotted on your list, you don't really want them anymore. And number 8 is for those items that you want to purchase online. So before you actually click the buy now button, make sure to give yourself at least 24 to 48 hours with that item in your cart. I have done this a lot where I'm thinking about an item that I'm going to purchase and I'll just have it sitting there in my cart for a few days, because I know that way I'm not going to forget about it, or I'm not going to have to search through all the items to remember what item I specifically wanted. But at the same time, it gives me the opportunity to really think about it. Do I really need it? And if I forget about it, that's a clue that I really did not need that item. Number 9 is something that I'm still currently working on, and it is a capsule wardrobe. I've shared with you about my crazy spending habits back in my early 20s in a previous video. This is something that I have been working on over the past few years, and it is just reducing my amount of clothing to those items that really make me feel my best, that really match well with one another. And this means that I have to kind of find a personal style, but at the same time, something that's simple, that has the ability to be worn in different occasions. But I love this as a money-saving tip, because through just reducing your wardrobe to those items that really make you feel your best, that you love to wear every single day, you're kind of in a way helping yourself from having that desire to have more, because it's never ending. You always want that extra piece, that extra accessory or whatever that's going to make me feel better or look better. You can really kind of escape that. And then when you do need to purchase something, it is because one of those items has just been worn out and you can no longer wear that item. Number 10 is to have low maintenance hairstyles. I have mentioned that I cut my own hair, but recently I had tried a balayage style. Basically, I dyed my hair kind of a blondish color. I don't know, I was always curious to see what I would look like with lighter hair, and I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I did not know that there would be maintenance involved, and I just went to my stylist and said, we are not having that. So I permanently dyed my hair a little bit darker now. For you, if you want to have your hair styled, by all means do it, but maybe consider styles that are lower in maintenance. This would be kind of a good in-between where you can kind of pamper yourself and treat yourself, which is good, but at the same time, you're also taking into consideration the expense that you're going to have and the time that you're going to spend getting to, staying there, coming back from the salon over and over and over again. Number 11 is to subscribe or use the apps to the grocery stores that you frequently shop at. And I kind of cringe because I know I normally would say unsubscribe from everything, but I have been subscribed to 2 different grocery stores that we shop at routinely, and they send me coupons all the time. I recently received a coupon for $16 off a purchase of $160 on groceries, and with the prices of groceries, I was like, yes, thank you. For us, this has worked really well because sometimes you will have items on the app that will give you different sales that are not really visible in the store, and otherwise you wouldn't know and you would just pay the higher price tag for. And number 12, if you struggle with impulse shopping, remove any stored cards from any accounts, log out and delete the apps. Most of the online shopping that I tend to do tends to come from Amazon and/or Target. But initially, when I was really trying to get rid of my crazy shopping habits, what I did was I removed all of the cards from the accounts, I deleted the apps on my phone, and that way it just kind of made another barrier so that it forced me to really think about the item that I was going to buy instead of just immediately click buy now, because it can be so easy to purchase on impulse when you just have it so easily accessible. So this kind of creates like a barrier to help you with those impulse purchases. And as the bonus, the best money saving tip that I can give to you is to think of money as time. Because if you think about it, every day that you go to work, you're working for what? For money. And especially if you have a job that you hate, this can be very motivating because the more you think about it, that item that you're gonna buy that you really don't need, how many hours of your time do you have to work to be able to get that thing? And if you hate your job, this will very much motivate you to save money. But I'm sure that there are certain things that you would love to be able to do, but your job keeps you from doing those things that you wanna do. Maybe you have a project that you wanna start, or you just wanna spend more time with your family. Every time that you spend money on something that you really don't need, you're having to work more in order to get it. But really what I would love for you to take away from this is any purchase that you're going to make, consider how much time does it take for me to work to be able to get this item, and is it worth it? So that is it. Those are my 12/13 different ways that I plan to save money in the new year in 2023. If you have any money saving tips of your own, please share them in the comments down below so that we can all learn from each other. I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have found this video helpful. If so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you won't miss when I post a new video. I can't wait to hear from you in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.